Herb, how would you answer that question about pathway into Mussar or
Right.
ranking up to higher levels in Mussar?
So, um, Mussar I think of as soul work, and I think it's really helpful to have someone who sees you um, and sees things about you that you may not see in yourself, both your potential and your downside, your shadow side. So I think it's really helpful to have a teacher. Um, uh, and There are various curricular models that are out there. I guess I want to say something about the curricular model that I've been schooled in, and which I teach in, which is um, in all of the lists of midot that are around. Um, they can be seen as forms of self-improvement. And ultimately, Mussar is more than self-improvement. Mussar is a tool for, like Judaism itself, for growing and transforming the world's potential, our soul's potential, our potential to be a holy people. So, um, in that, I think you want to look for a teacher who has a sense of growing your potential, and that's what I try to do as a teacher of Mussar. Take everybody where they come, but our curriculum is actually a 4-year journey. I compare it to like adventure travel with a group of people that you sign on with. You don't know where it's going to go. You take a deep dive with people if you stay with them for any length of time, and you see their soul work week after week. So yeah, that's, I guess, how I would answer the question.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great. Thanks. Thank you both. We're gonna record. We are recording this meeting, so if there's someone, we're gonna open it in just a minute or so to let people to share any experiences they've had with Mussar that has been impactful to them. So keep in mind that we're recording this meeting, so be sure that you are comfortable with that. If someone really wants to share just this small group and turn the recording off, I'll honor that. But I'd hope you'd have something to share that you would be comfortable with anyone listening to the impact of it. And then we'll, based on the number of people on the call, I think that if people could have maybe just 3 minutes to talk, then it'd be enough for everyone to share. And if we have time left, we'll have another round. And then before we actually do that, Herb earlier just said that he was willing to put us in just a different energy space than intellectual. And so he's going to do a little nigun, and that will open up space for the first person to share. So I'm going to mute myself so there's no feedback.
So this is in 2 languages, Hebrew and English. The tune is by Shefa Gold. The verse is from the morning blessings. Elohai neshama shanata tabi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shanata tabi tehorahi. Oh, pure soul, in you I see endless possibility. Oh, pure soul, in you I see endless possibility. Elohai neshama shanata tabi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shanata tabi Tehorahi.
Thank you, Herb. So there's a way to flag, or if you just raise your hand, I'll call on whoever wants to take a couple of minutes and share on the call tonight. I'll unmute everyone so anyone can jump in.
I'm happy to say a few words. I attended the Jewish men's retreat in 2012. It was my first year of retirement, and I was looking to make whatever new starts I wanted in life that I felt I needed. And at the retreat, the very first moment I walked in after I had registered, I met a man named Jacob Weem. And we gravitated towards each other over the course of the weekend, and it's fair to say we became friends. He lived in New York City, I lived in Boston, but we both had second homes in the Berkshires, and there was some correspondence back, and then we got together in December. And then he met a very tragic death, a heart attack that while his wife was in the hospital and there was no one there to attend to him. And so the friendship, which I had so such hopes for, never matured. But he, in the short time we knew each other that summer, he talked to me a great deal about the Mussar study he had been involved in. And I watched him, little things like the morning we were leaving, he took $5 out of his pocket and put it in a little box saying, "Tips for the employees." And I said, "How come you have $5 in your pocket?" And he said, "Oh, every morning I put money in my pocket so I can give it away in the course of the day." And I said, "Oh, why do you do that?" He says, "It's part of my Mussar study. I just feel it's living in New York City. That's an important part of who I am." There were many things that happened that way in the time that I knew him that touched me deeply about who he was. And so I've had this question in my mind about what Mussar was since 2012. And when this seminar came along, it was a very good occasion to order 2 of the books, start looking through them, and to join some people to talk about Mussar. So I just want to say I'm very curious, very interested, and very much hold the memory of dear Jacob, who left us way too early.
Thank you. Lovely sharing. Thank you. Who else would like to share?
Well, this is Harry Shayer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sort of new to the group. I've been invited by Yosef August, who I understand was one of the founders of your Mensch group. And I'm down here in the South Jersey area, and right across from Philadelphia. And I actually, he's invited me to come to the annual meeting, which I haven't been able to coordinate yet, but I'd like to come. And I'll be getting the emails. And what interests me about this session is that I started a connection with Greg Marcus, who was the one of your authors of the book on the spiritual side of Mussar, because I too am retired, and I'm doing a little bit of searching of where I want to spend my time, and of course I'm interested in giving back, and I'm also trying to develop more of a spiritual practice as well. So so all that is coming together. So I'm sort of here to listen and learn, and see where I want to go on this. So that's where I am.
Do you feel like you have the resources to do that? The references, Greg Marcus, have you looked at his book?
Yes, I have his book. And he does have an online program that you could join. And I went to one of his first sessions, but like anything else, it's coordinating his, when he does it and when I can join. But I wouldn't mind, having something more in person than doing it online if I can do that. I think it's, and I think I liked what I think Gordon, is that Mitch recommended, that you get a lot more out of it if it's done in a group versus just sitting there reading. But I think this isn't too bad either. This is pretty close to being part of that group.
Reach out and touch.
Yeah, reach out and touch. So could you see a possibility that this could turn into an ongoing Mussar type of group?
I would defer to Herb and Mitch, who are teachers. I think they're right. You need a teacher. You need a leader. Greg is a really good person. He has online stuff. He does, I think his is American Mussar.
Yeah, American Mussar, right.
And I don't know much about it, but, I just read it, and that looks to be very accessible to people. So, and as Mitch said, there's a flavor, in my experience, to different ones. Some are more orthodox. And so, we all have our flavors that we, enjoy the most to get started. And to me, when I was looking at these 3 different books, they all look good to me. And that's my own spiritual path, that as I've done more things, I can sit in different rooms and benefit from it. So I think it's a blessing to do that. But I want this call to sort of let people know there's so many different ways of getting in and moving forward.
Well, let me mention one other thing. Another person that sort of had an influence was a gentleman by the name of David Brooks, who's a commentator. You've seen him on NPR.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And he's written 2 books in that regard, because he's sort of finding his purpose. The one is called The Second Mountain, that he just wrote, and the other is In Search of Character.
Uh-huh.
Which is, all about, the finding purpose other than, financial purpose, but actually giving back, and more of a spiritual thing, because he sort of found out in his life what was missing, and so that would also interest me as well.
Thanks. Well, I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to speak. Is there another person? And then we'll open it to another round.
Well, maybe I'll say a word. This is Michael. I'm in Boston, and I was invited by Mitch to come to the summer party in Boston, and I've just signed up for the retreat as well, which will be my first time.
Yay!
I was a student at HUC in the early 1980s, and we studied Mussar under David Ellenson, and we were bemused at this ethical tract that had long, we thought, died, and was interested to get a feeling for what a yeshiva would look like if it had Mussar inside it. And of course it was a historical question for us, and we left it behind when we left seminary, but it has interestingly become a 21st century phenomenon, particularly in Boston, and my wife is now a Mussar teacher and rabbi, and so I'm learning from her. I haven't yet been part of a Havurah yet, but I did go to the Mussar Institute Kala last May, and intrigued and interested, but not yet, I think, committed to the practice yet. As I think Herb was saying before, there's a difference between kind of living it and knowing it. So I have yet to enter that world, but you never know.